Welcome in, everybody, to the RAS College Football Show here in Week 8. I am your host, as always, John Martin, joined by the great Eddie Walls. We have a packed show for you. Got some news, got a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to have a best bet from Eddie here in just a minute. And as always, we are going to go over some of the biggest games in the entire slate in Week 8. Before we do that, I do want to mention a couple of things. A quick shout out to Right Angle Sports. They finished the college football package 12 in 1 week last week for Right Angle Sports. What a freaking week, Eddie. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I mean, you live for those kind of weeks. I mean, they don't happen often enough, in my opinion. I think it's like it's really wild when you have, clients and, you're losing and they're losing and you feel so bad. So it was good to have a week like that. I didn't have a loser in the 1:30 to 5 o'clock window, and I basically bet every game. So
wow,
it was a pretty unbelievable week, to say the least.
It's like Steph, the rim is just as big as the ocean. You can't miss.
Right.
You just throw it up there.
I didn't throw a single pillow on Saturday. It was strange.
It was absolutely fantastic. And now, as while we're on the subject, Right Angle Sports is going to have, as they have the last few years, a bowl service package. We always love these bowls, and I believe Right Angle Sports did very well on the bowl package last year as well. So if you want to get involved with that, it's raspicks.com/CFB. That's raspicks.com/CFB to go ahead and take advantage of that package. It will be here before you know it. Eddie, before we get to your best bet, normally we talk about bets and we talk about, handicapping and things like that. But there was a little bit of news today, which we don't typically get in the regular season on Thursdays. But Curt Signetti signed a long-term deal to remain as the Indiana coach through 2033 at an average of $11.6 million a year. This makes him the third highest paid coach in the sport, behind only Kirby Smart and Ryan Day. I mean, it feels like just yesterday this guy was at James Madison. So this is extremely crazy to me. What do you make of that?
I think it makes a lot of sense. Penn State's going to make a hell of an offer if they don't do this. And I mean, legitimately, he's definitely in the top 5 of coaches. He's doing at Indiana with 3 stars, what a lot of teams aren't capable of doing with 5 stars. And he does a lot of hands-on work. I read a really interesting article about him like a year ago, I think it was, where he evaluates every single player in the portal and handpicks them himself because he knows he can develop players. So, yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable how good he is. Good on both sides of the ball, too. This Indiana team doesn't have any holes. I knew it going into the offseason, but it was just a matter of whether or not they could win the Big Ten and where that would land them. The schedule was a little bit harder this year. Everybody was like, oh, well, they did terrible against bad teams. They lost a 10-point game at Indiana as a 9.5-point underdog. I mean, it wasn't like they got blown out.
Right.
They get a 99-yard touchdown run on the first play of the game and kind of fell apart for a half, but they recouped just fine. And I mean, he had Rourke last year, who was at Ohio, and I watched every single snap, and Rourke was a completely different player. And it turns out he was playing with a torn ACL the entire year. So, yeah, I mean, they probably have the most value of all the teams left in the entire nation when it comes to best value in a national championship odds still. I think they're severely underrated in that market. I don't really bet that kind of stuff, but I did take a look at it just to see last week, and I was just shocked. Like, they're still just completely undervalued when it comes to what's people's perspective of them.
Yeah, I mean, winning at Oregon, I mean, you definitely are a contender. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's get to the best bet of the week from Eddie Walls. Eddie, what you got for us this week?
Man, I could have gone with some things now that we're not releasing plays. I could have given out like 7 of them. No, I'm just kidding. The best bet of the week is going to be USF at Florida Atlantic over 71.5. I'm going to break it down really quick. 2 fastest paced teams in the entire country. We just saw USF put up 66 points on UNT, which has a very, very impressive defense. And they did that with 3 turnovers. They also did 2 of them, or 1 of them in the red zone. They also didn't try to score the last 6 minutes of the game. I think they could have reached 80 if they wanted to. On the other side, we have Florida Atlantic, who is going the fastest pace in the entire nation, 18 seconds per snap in the first half. And they don't care about losing by margin, as we saw at Memphis earlier this year. That coach will absolutely go for it on 4th and 15 in his own end zone. He doesn't care about anything other than calling plays and going as fast as possible. He knows what's up here. He knows he has to score and score quickly, and he doesn't have a defense to depend on. I think that if they would have made this 76, I still would have contemplated it. I mean, I don't think you can make numbers for teams like this. Personally, I know that models like to put out a number, and a lot of people bet into that. But I was betting over 105 like 7-8 years ago in the Texas Tech games, Texas Tech Baylor. This is right up my alley. These are my kind of games. I like offense. I like really aggressive coaches. I like fast seconds per play. I love it all. Give me no defense for a half, and I'm good.
And to be clear, this is a college football game, not the first half of a college basketball game.
It might be. We might get there in the first half the way I'm thinking about it. I don't know. USF, what's like the least amount of points that USF's going to score in this game? Like, honestly, like what's the very, very lowest minimum? Like 49, I think, possibly.
Right.
The only way that this loses is FAU can't score and USF takes the foot off the gas in the second half. But I still think that Florida Atlantic's going to put up at least 21 on a bad day. There might be 180, 190 plays in this game. Easy.
Right. You're seeing all around. This is our odds screen from our friends at Odds Logic. Obviously, if you do not have an odds screen, you need an odds screen for a variety of reasons. And you're going to see Bet Online, Chris. You're going to see all the sharpest books that maybe not every odds screen has here on Odds Logic. We've got the promo code for you in the link below of this video. Make sure you click that and get the best deal possible at Odds Logic. So there you go. That is our Eddie's best bet of the week 4, week 8. All right, let's get it going here with the slate. Let's start with LSU at Vandy. Vandy favored by 2.5 in Nashville with a total here of 49.
Yeah, I don't have anything in this game. My girlfriend or wife, I have to get used to saying that. She watched the.
You could have both. You could have a girlfriend and a wife. You know.
Right. Well, no, it's not. Calm down now, buddy. Get me in hot water on a Thursday afternoon. That's not okay. No, she's addicted to Diego Pavia. I think she has a crush. I'm not sure what's going on, but she watches every Vanderbilt game. So we both root for Vanderbilt. The underdog story is very, very cool. I don't have a play in this game. I'm right on the number, basically. I actually made it like -1.5. I would contemplate taking LSU +3 just because their defense is so nasty, and I think Nussmeier is starting to get healthy. But as of right now, there's just no way. I also just can't bet an LSU over. Like, I saw over money coming this morning, and I would just like, where's the write-up on that? Like, LSU just doesn't score a lot and doesn't allow a lot. Like, their base total drops every single week for me. So you're really putting a lot of faith in Vanderbilt being able to score there, and I'm not sure if that's really – they play too slow for me to really contemplate overs with them.
Yeah, that LSU offense, man. I just don't know. I don't know what happened to Nussmeier from last year. He looks like a totally different quarterback. I know they said the oblique injury. Maybe that's it, but he just does not look like the same guy whatsoever this year, and it's very disappointing. It really is. Moving right along, Ole Miss on the road at Georgia. Georgia, in many ways, fortunate to win, although that second half defensive performance was one for the ages. They are now at home laying 7.5 with a total here of 54.5.
I don't have anything here. I want to play Ole Miss overs, but Georgia, I don't know what to make of their offense. I'm very, very concerned about it, to be quite honest with you. I kind of think that Ole Miss is a live dog here, but I don't know if I really want to trust the defense that was kind of made over in the offseason, and Chambliss making his first really, really big road appearance. This is a big stage for a guy that was playing at Ferris State 12 months ago. You can make a case for either side, but I'm at 7 and I'm at 56, so it was too close for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I think like you're talking about a guy at home has been fantastic, like beyond your wildest imagination, but it is a different beast on the road at Georgia, so
sure.
I'm with you. I'm like, man, how do I resist this 7.5? But it's 7.5 for a pretty good reason would be my guess. All right, moving right along here. They call this the Holy War, I think is what they call it. People are already getting arrested out there. It's nuts. Utah at BYU. Utah -3, total of 49.
What's the arrest about? That's crazy.
I don't know. I can't remember what the actual affidavit said, but it was
These
something.
guys don't even drink Diet Coke, for God's sakes. I mean, I don't know what's happening here. Anyways, I bet Utah. It was one of the first bets I made of the entire week. They're a much better program, coach-wise. Their quarterback doesn't throw like he's left-handed when he's right-handed. I mean, BYU hasn't played anybody yet, in my opinion. They were very fortunate to win last week at Arizona. Extremely fortunate to win against Colorado at Colorado. Utah is being docked way too much for losing to Texas Tech in the fashion that they did. Now that we know what Texas Tech is, give me Utah all day. I think that Dampier is way, way better than Bachmeier. And I just think the offensive line and defensive line is both superior. BYU has a legitimate defense, but we're saying that about like them playing against Colorado and Arizona, where they have pretty big weight advantages. I think Utah is very good.
Yeah. By the way, here's the story. It was a 28-year-old Utah man was on Twitter saying that he will be in the stadium on Saturday, and that any Ute fan he sees is dead.
What the hell? Yeah. Oh man, college football is crazy.
Yeah, they found him.
Absolutely nuts.
They found him and arrested him. So,
oh man, thank God.
But that's it's a crazy game. It's a crazy rivalry.
I know, they're nuts. I mean, I don't know. Like every once in a while, like I'll tune into a game at like Ohio State. There's like 130,000 people there. I just think that's just so wild to me. Like you can't even get 110,000 people to vote in that damn state.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe a bad example, but it's just really crazy that 130,000 people are congregated in one area.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, it totally
Love
is.
it. I mean,
cool. Moving right along here. USC at Notre Dame. This is kind of been interesting. Ping-ponging. 9.5, 10. I called it 9.5. There's some 9s. I think there's even maybe some 8s out there. It's all over the place, but we're just going to call it Notre Dame minus 9.5 with a total here of 61.
Yeah, this is a great game on paper. I think that Notre Dame figured out their defense. And what I mean by figured it out is they got an All-American defensive back that wasn't playing the first 3 weeks. And ever since that happened, nobody's been able to do anything against them. This will definitely be their best test since Texas A&M, that's for certain. I have problems with USC secondary. The center is out for a long period of time for Notre Dame. That's problematic. I'm not involved here. If it gets to 10, I'm probably going to end up having to play the Trojans just because I can't get to that number. But it won't be the most comfortable of bets.
Let's get to a few questions in the comments because we do get these occasionally, Eddie. Let's go to DT plus the points. Good afternoon from Memphis, home of the National Guard. Thoughts on North Texas and UTSA?
Yeah, I definitely had problems with this game. I'm not going to lie to you. This happens every single year with UTSA where they start off super conservative and rely on a run game, and then they lose a game like they did to Temple where they couldn't score, and then they go super fast the very next week, and then that starts to propel things. This happened the last 2 years, actually. Traylor can't get out of his own way. And then they go out and score like 63 on Rice last week or whatever it was, and UNT coming off of the big loss on national TV in front of their first sellout in forever. What would you have made this game like 2 weeks ago? It probably would have been like North Texas minus 10. I just don't know how they react to that kind of loss. It's just a pass for me, kind of like the under when it was at 69 and hesitated, missed that. So, yeah, it's just a pass, which is rare for me in the AAC. It just felt like there was a lot of too much mental strain for me to get anywhere on this game. So
the commissioner of the American is going to have you arrested if you continue to refer to it as the AAC. It's American Conference. There's no more athletic, all right? So that's your first warning.
That's why Rice is the way they are, I guess. Not a lot of athletes there. Then in Charlotte.
Damn. You know what?
Out, apparently.
Rice needs to stop trying to be in college sports at the Division I level. I could not agree more. All right, we've gotten a few of these the same game, so I'm just going to throw it at you. Washington, Michigan. People are asking about Washington, Michigan.
Just played it over this morning at 50. I lost last week on Washington and Rutgers, 1,100 yards, couldn't get to 58 points. Absolutely destroyed my soul. But I'm just going to keep on going back to the well with this Washington team. I think that they have a future NFL quarterback. They have an NFL wide receiver, an NFL running back. Their secondary isn't very good. I just saw Underwood throw picks deep in the red zone and everything like that. But I still think that this Washington defense is not nearly as good up front as USC's defense. I think their defensive line is pretty susceptible to big plays. There's no weather in the area. I couldn't figure out what I was missing, and finally I pulled the trigger on it.
Ace asks, why do we have to wait till the end of the show for John's picks? That's what we're all here
Very
for.
good point. It's a very good point, Ace. Do you want to give it to him now, John?
No, I don't. I think they need to wait till the absolute end. I mean, it's the main event. it's the week, okay?
Right.
We've got 2 in a row. We're going for 3. So
I understand.
It's not going to be an Air Force over this week, though, unfortunately.
It's not good news.
I had an edge. It was just bet Air Force over no matter what the number, man. So
I think you still have the edge. I don't know. I mean, they're 136th in points allowed.
It is amazing.
And they can score quick. They got an NFL quarterback, it looks like, out of nowhere. I don't know. I mean, Wyoming just scored 35 on San Jose State.
No, you're right. Although it will not be that this week. Although maybe it still doesn't mean it's a bad bet, but I'll have it to you momentarily. Last game we have on the docket here, Eddie. Tennessee at Alabama. Alabama 8-point favorite, total 59.
I played a very small over bet on this. I think the Tennessee doesn't have a defense, period. They play too fast. This is the first big road test. You could make a case for Alabama because their secondary has been so good, but their secondary has been very, very good against teams that really don't go fast and don't have great wide receivers to cover, etc. Running quarterback gave them fits early in the season. We have a running quarterback here. I was slightly above this number, and I just decided to put a little half unit on it. It felt good to me.
Got it. All right. So what everybody's all been waiting for, it's not an Air Force over. It is, however, in my neck of the woods, we're going to go Memphis minus 21.5 at UAB. I realize there are a lot of fundamentals that may be working against Memphis, certainly laying this number on the road as well. UAB fired one of the worst coaches in college football in Trent Dilfer. And it's just that new coach bump. However, I think this number has actually gotten out further since that firing. It was 21 at the time, and now it's out to 21.5. I thought, Eddie, about over in this game, which I think is currently around 62.5. But Memphis is 11th in the country in defensive stop rate, which is a metric that basically just measures overall defensive success. They've been the real deal defensively. I'm not saying that they've played a bunch of great offensive teams, but I do think their defensive improvement is real. And so therefore, I don't think there's going to be much of a difference with this UAB team. Maybe slightly better, but Memphis has been crushing this group the last few years. I think they're legitimate. I'm going to lay the 21.5. They can run the ball. I think they can win this game by 4 scores or more. So I'm going to go Memphis minus 21.5. And that would set up, my friend, potentially Memphis USF, October 25th, a ranked matchup in Memphis.
Game day. College game day is going there.
Get game day to Memphis.
That's what's happening.
Let me make sure there's nothing. We have regular season win totals. We have 3. You're going to bless us. We're done with college football. You're going to bless us with 3 more NBA regular season win totals. What do we have?
Got it down right here.
Here we go. Let's go.
Good. All right. Number 1 is going to be Miami Heat under 38.5. I think that this team is a dumpster fire, period. Every single year, it's around the same thing. Everybody talks about how it's like Heat culture and everything like that. Well, you can't play Ware and Bam together because there's no spacing. Hero's out until at least January, from what I can read. I mean, they keep on saying December, but you have no playmaking there. Your big acquisition in the offseason was Norman Powell, who the Clippers would rather have Bradley Beal than Norman Powell. So that goes to show you what they think of him. And you keep on signing these young guys that really don't perform well. I've been hearing about Jaquez for 2 years. I've been hearing about Jovic for 3. There's still a lack of point guard here. They got rid of Highsmith for some reason. That didn't make any sense to me. They're just a play-in team at best for me, and their division has gotten much harder. Atlanta's better, Charlotte's better, and Orlando is hell of better. So give me the Heat under. I don't like it. I don't like the team. I don't like the makeup, and they do own the rights to their first-round pick next year. I could see a situation where they trade Bam for some additional picks. He's getting up there in age, and you already have Ware. I don't know. Second one is going to be Chicago over. I play them over every single year. You don't even have to wait for me to tell you anymore, guys. 32.5 over is just ridiculous. They won 39 last year. Buzelis is making a leap. I mean, he is unbelievably good. Giddey looked like an MVP at the second half of the year last year. They went 19-7 down after the All-Star break or something like that. They're ridiculously well built. The problem that everybody's scared of is they're going to trade White. Well, not likely. I mean, this team refuses to make any moves throughout the season. I mean, if they were to trade anybody, they would have traded Vooch like the last 2 years. And they haven't made any progress on that. And he's still a restricted free agent. Yeah, I mean, Donovan, he wins 40 games every single year. They're in the play-in for a reason every single year. They're exactly a 500 team or close to it. And not only that, I mean, Cleveland has injuries. Milwaukee isn't very good. And Indiana is really, really kind of mediocre this year at best. So within their own division, they're going to pick up some wins. Probably not against the Cavs. I don't know, but nonetheless, over 32.5 there. And then the last one is going to be Phoenix, under 32.5. How are you going to make this work? You got Devin Booker and Jalen Green in the same backcourt. Are they going to be fighting to take shots from each other? You have Mark Williams, who's going to be lucky to play 40 games. You drafted a rookie who's not ready to play. At some point or another, you do have to get draft picks. So I can see where Dylan ends up going. They're going to have to make some trades and look about their future. They're in the West. They're going to be a big, big target for people to pick up kind of easy wins. And that's if they're healthy. I mean, this is a very, very unhealthy team every single year. If Devin Booker goes out for any amount of time, you have Colin Gillespie, and he's going to play 25, 30 minutes a game. I don't think so. Just way, way weird of a roster and a first-year head coach who wants to play fast, but then they bring in Thibodeau. I don't know what's going on with this team, but I don't like the makeup of it. So 32.5 under. And that'll include all the regular season win totals, I bet. I bet some others, but they moved too much, and I didn't feel comfortable giving out stuff that's moved 2-3 games. So
got it. That would be good if this is the way it goes. By the way, Eddie, that'll be good news for the Grizzlies because they would own the Suns' pick.
That's correct.
So I think unless it's number one, and so if it's 3 or 4, I think it would convey to the Grizz. So
yeah, Utah's got the rights to number one. I mean, they deserve it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you know a team is in bad shape when they're like making announcements about Ace Bailey missing a preseason game. I'm like, man, you might want to pump the brakes on the old Ace Bailey talks for the future.
Rough times. Well, as always, guys, thanks for being here. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Obviously, it convinces our friend Ed Golden to let us keep coming back every week when you do that. So please continue to show love and support. We appreciate you guys being here every single week. And for Eddie, I'm John. Best of luck this week. Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah, good luck to everybody. Thanks again.